everybody.
Hi, Internet.
Hi,
Nobody's
Dr.
watching
Nick.
anyway.
Hi, everybody.
So somebody tell us what happened last time.
Adam, you do it.
Yeah. Oh.
The session name was
I
Dearly
defer.
Cursed?
Dearly Cursed.
Mhm.
It was.
I have a bunch of notes.
It was the dearly cursed, actually.
Oh, Cursed.
Oh,
Cursed.
How
Hey,
very...
English.
Yes.
Is that spelled different?
No.
The very first thing that I believe happened was Revan awaking about 15 seconds later, unharmed, after blacking out yet again.
That is correct.
Oh, yeah, in the street.
Yeah, in the middle of the darn street.
Yeah.
Out like a sack of potatoes.
And why did he do that?
He had another vision, but I think didn't that happen at the end of the previous session?
It
Yes.
did.
Okay, yeah,
But we just didn't
Um,
talk about it in character until the next session.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And then Revan spent a lot of the rest of the time. He went back to the Wolf and Hound to chill and recuperate.
Yeah.
While the group went out onward.
Blacking out
Right.
is tiring. You need food.
Yeah. And you would
My
know.
notes say Captain Revan starts monologuing.
Oh,
Accurate.
that wasn't until later on, though.
Right.
Yeah.
We went to go visit the blacksmith. Which was, slightly north of the market. Joan was working on the roof, making a hole with a pickaxe, trying to slowly turn it into a blacksmith because there's no forge, there's no chimney or anything like that. So she's working at that. We kind of spoke to her briefly about what she could use materials-wise, as ore and scrap metal and all sorts of kind of other things. And the group voiced their desire for various gubbins in the future, so they would offer to help in return for stuff like that. And then we left. And then Tizol talks to the owner of the tavern, Stefan.
Yep. Set up the tavern with his brother, the cook David. Tizal went with Revan back to the Wolf and Hound. Of course, he asked about Charlie. He didn't get much about Charlie, but he found out about their family's history on the island.
My notes say Charlie looks like Jeff Bridges.
Yes.
I'm not sure why. Was that a literal thing someone said?
That is what we talked about. How Charlie was basically the dude.
Oh, okay. From the Big Lebowski. That's what that was referencing. Okay.
Charlie wasn't there for long, about a month or two. Stefan said nothing really stuck out about him, and he had one day of adventuring to get his collar removed, necklace, sorry, and then he left.
And he might be dead. They didn't know.
Right, assuming that he was the one that had the compass and now is no longer bound to it, and Revan has the compass. That is a safe assumption.
Tizal poured out the contents of his water skin outside the toilet wine.
His
which
rank toilet wine.
By now has ants.
Absolutely. Yeah, there is a nasty just bead of ants leading to that now.
Very, very drunk ants.
Header for the next section. Revan shares a lot of bit about himself.
A lot of bit.
A lot of bit.
So I'll recite that now. So everyone...
Start over. From the top.
Council tried to slip away from Wander and Felix to go look for a woodworker for a secret project. He went to the market to find someone to help. Saw a Dorn with various furs and things. Was looking for 2 sheets of leather.
You're not supposed to take notes on this? What's wrong with
I
you?
am. He was looking for 2 sheets of leather. I can't read my own handwriting. 6 inch by 8 inch, very specific. And he gives him he traded with some hide or something or other.
Was it the poison bolts, I think?
Yes, the poison bolts.
Yeah.
Oh boy, those are my notes.
Also, Adam, I totally didn't ignore you. I wrote down your entire backstory, so it's in here. As you were saying it, I just described the entire thing.
It started out shorter, and I didn't know what to share or not. And I was like, why don't I just turn this into a tale someone would tell at over
Here be my life
September.
story.
Yeah.
I'm terrible at listening and taking notes at the same time, so I just absorbed the story and didn't take a single note about it.
One thing that came from our discussion, I believe, after Revan's long tale was that the six figures in Revan's second vision are likely deities of each race.
Yeah, the group
which
kind of guesstimated.
Right. Kind of the assumption based on some of our chat, which I and I guess Revan hadn't picked up on initially from that vision until we started chatting about it more.
We did talk about next steps to get answers about all the many questions the group has. And going to the Dwarven may be the best way to go, but Felix is not in favor of the Dwarven due to his quote-unquote different approach. So we'll have to figure out how to do that carefully as that moves forward. Council did a bit of things on his own. And then we talked to Stefan about Jason, the leader of the not rebellion, but the
New
Oren
Oren
group.
New Oren, yes.
What are they called again?
New Oren.
New Oren.
New Oren?
Yeah.
New Oren.
Because the
Good,
city
thank
is
you.
just
I
called
didn't-
Oren. Right?
Right. I couldn't remember what the group was called.
Stefan said he seemed like an average guy until he didn't. He got powers overnight.
Yeah.
Suddenly he could do things
Fire
with fire.
powers.
Yeah, fire powers. Flame on. But he wasn't destructive. He got a small following and said he said he got it from a
His mama.
source. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what this note is. Weird.
Maybe
Where
you should
my
take notes
head
in
went?
Notepad.
Right.
Where my head went, and I don't know if this was accurate or not, but was that it was more like possibly from one of the stones.
I don't know. I don't remember that.
What is alchemite? There we go.
Hmm.
Right, and that's why I didn't. That was just me as I probably shouldn't table talk, but just me as a player was thinking that.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
And then we investigated the temple a bit more. The one in town. The walls are almost 2 feet thick.
Yeah.
Statues are different. The Dwarven are more rudimentary, while the Elm ones were intricate. Felix was going to try and stone shape the wall, but the wall rejected it. The magic was slapped down like a bad dunk shot. Then
Not in my house.
There's a preview of the new Space Jam movie coming out.
Yeah.
It's a teaser for all of our viewers.
the mark on the bell was the Dwarnic rune for D.
Yep.
So instead of a kind of a cursive actual D, it was a D in a different language.
Kind of like a triangle or like a delta in Greek, similar.
Yeah.
Flattened triangle.
Yep.
Due to the shape of the city and how it seems to be split up into districts in a rounded shape, we may know where the other temples are. So that's kind of something we concluded there. In the tower, you can see outside the main part of the city. It's a huge expanse of ruined desert. And then we went out of the wall because we wanted to investigate that entrance by the outer wall. And it was full of debris and old equipment.
Mhm.
Goes on for over a mile. But there were no bones, so it wasn't a battlefield.
Mhm.
Might have been a staging area for an army or a large crafting area because this is the Dwarven part of the city, so maybe big kind of factory kind of thing. I don't know.
Somewhere in between those, the second and third bell tower, I forget exactly where, but we found out that Wander has a scrimshaw.
Yes,
It
Wander's
changes-
scrimshaw changes picture.
Yeah, to show a bearded figure.
Bearded figure hammering. On an
hammering.
anvil.
You're smithing.
I didn't write that part. Oh, gotcha. So essentially like a blacksmith
Yeah.
type figure.
Bearded being next to an anvil with a hammer.
Mhm.
Cool.
I think we conveniently left out that the night before, council snuck out of the room.
I said that. I said he
I
did things
said
by
that.
himself.
Did you say it?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't hear you
He
say
did
it.
his
but I was
sneaky magic stuff.
Yeah, he
Okay.
snuck out and did things with gubbins. And...
Everyone knew.
Yep. If I have the notes, it means my character knows.
He had to
That's how
pee.
D&D works.
God.
Yeah, 1P. All right, sorry, continue. Oh, we headed to the outer wall, west, to the furthest wall after we investigated kind of that area on the east side of the city. Went to the wall. Tizal couldn't find a marking on the bell because the west wall also has a bell tower. We were able to open the doors and we could see the mountains to the west. And a lot of sand was in between the tower or that entrance and the mountains. Within the frame of the doors were smaller doors leading inside the wall. The door on the right led upwards, while the door on the left basically sunk underground. Revan double checked the tower and saw the same Dorn D on the bell.
Yep.
Because he didn't mix player knowledge and character knowledge.
Well, we had seen it on every
No,
other
I'm
bell.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
He was
I'm
like,
totally kidding.
We
I'm totally kidding. You should have double checked, and you
we
did.
tried to get the door open through a lot of different means.
Oh, yeah.
It
Yep.
seems to be just as stubborn and kind of like, haha, I'm not magical, but maybe kind of protections on it. And we Revan tried to put the compass against the door, and it was repelled by an invisible force, much like trying to two magnets with opposite polarities.
Yeah.
And that's the
And
last
then
note I took.
The
Well, he,
compass. Oh, go ahead.
I think you're about to say what I'm about to say.
Oh, yeah. I think the last thing that happened was the compass ended up pointing into the mountains as a potential area we should explore soon based on priorities.
Right, because Revan's priority became figuring out what's below the city, and that made it point west.
Whereas it was
yes.
pointing east.
Yeah, back to his ship.
Back to his ship.
Yeah.
We're not going to the mountains yet, though, right?
No.
Yeah, we were going to do something else first. I don't remember what, though.
The new
Order.
horn thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
Gonna go
We
speak
were
to the
saving the mountains for a little bit later. That was the whole priorities thing.
Yeah, the mountains is the direction that the Magister said there was a group of people that went to go investigate something, and none of them returned.
Didn't come
He
back.
wants,
Yeah.
he wants their collars back. And when
Those are
asked why they were
expensive.
there, he refused to say. So Council's like, no, thank you.
All right. You guys are
Oh,
ready?
there's a lot of recap.
That was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The name of this session is The Reason You Are Here.
Ooh,
Probably not important.
I'm excited.
Tell me if music is too loud or not.
It is perfect.
Boy,
Music
The
to my
reason-
ears.
The reason you are here, correct?
Correct. The reason you are here.
All right. I was just writing down a different note before I got to this. So
Yeah. So your compass is now pointing west towards the mountains. You are standing still between these two massive stone doors. You have the mountains to your west, and you have New Orin to your east. What would you like to do?
had I shared the results of the compass in the last session? Did I share that with the group when? I think
I
whether we
assume
kinda wrapped
everybody
with that.
saw it. Yeah.
Yeah, you were
okay,
holding it
okay.
out to faff with the door. Upon seeing that, Council will look at the compass, and then west, and then back to the compass, and then back to the city. I wouldn't be surprised if this is somehow linked to that group that disappeared, of which the Magister spoke.
Aye, it could be.
If our goal is to enter the space below the city, and there is an entrance to the west, it may have some interesting implications to the city.
It might not be an entrance. It might be the key we need.
True. Are we prepared to begin our journey to New Orleans? Do we have the
I believe
supplies we
so.
need?
We shouldn't have gone this far if we weren't.
That's a good point.
Wise words. Well, we should carry on then.
All right. As you then make your way outside of the city of Orin, you can see here on the map, if you're looking at the stream, that the pathway stays very close to the wall until a little over a mile and a half. And then it breaks off and it begins to head more straight northwest. All along the outside of the wall, you can see that it's just as pristine inside as it is inside or outside.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see any markings, any signs of battle, anything like that. It looks like it's just a city that has kind of been lost here. Meanwhile, the mountains, as you are walking northward, they are slowly getting closer to the coast. So if I go back to my map of Zunichbia, you can see that the sea and the mountains kind of start to narrow in on each other.
Mm-hmm.
So ever so slowly, as you are traveling northward, the mountains are getting closer.
From what we know, is New Orleans also along the coast? Or is it across the mountains in this other region?
You were just told that it was about a day's travel northward.
Okay.
Where approximately in this view are we, Spencer?
You are the little circle. So if you look at Zunichbia, the word Zunichbia.
Oh, directly west.
Directly west of it.
Yes.
Yep, there's a little circle.
Yeah,
that is
gotcha.
the city of of Orin.
What?
Gotcha.
What time of day is this?
You were leaving in like early afternoon.
Okay.
So if you were to travel all night, you would get there in the morning. So it's kind of up to you if you want to stop and camp at some point, if you want to just keep pushing through.
Well,
We
this
should be very of traveling during the daytime.
agreed.
I'm always one to make camp and take the safer route. We've got nothing but time on our hands for now.
Aye.
I am in no
Yes.
particular rush to arrive at our destination. Should we decide to rest for the day and then journey at night? Although I
Works for
am
me.
comfortable traveling now, if desired.
I would prefer waiting a few hours than making our way north.
A safe decision. Not one expected from you, 'tis all.
Those cracks are getting real fun.
All right. So are you guys choosing to camp out like closer to the city, or are you like walking out a ways and then setting up camp?
I'm gonna go right back into the wall. There's no reason
Okay.
not to.
Yeah,
I mean, if we're right there.
Right.
Yeah, sure.
I
Okay.
would say we scouted north a little bit, then just kind of doubled back, knowing what time of day it was, just to kind of wait for nighttime,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
or at
so
least dawn.
you spend about 15 minutes like walking and kind of returning and heading back just inside and waiting out the rest of the day. Anything in particular anyone would like to do until you're ready to go later on?
No, not really. Set up camp. Not camp, but a comfortable place to sit and wait for a few hours, I suppose, since we have like, 5-6 hours to go?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I
Maybe a
want to
power
ask the
nap.
group one question before we all settle in for rest. Because I don't know that I've asked the group this yet. Are any of you familiar with the polar hewn to the north?
Am I familiar with the polar hewn to the north? Didn't I stop there before the tropical hewn, or the other way around?
No. You were on a tropical hewn.
Okay.
I spent some time with them though, right?
You did.
I
Yeah.
feel like I probably would have too, just trading wise. No?
Maybe you tended to interact more with the non that were more around like the base of the pillar that you were on.
Okay, fair. No.
I have spent some time with the hewn north of here, the polar hewn. I would like to clarify, however, that I'm far more sophisticated. That was one of the early stops on my travels. I was far less debonair and used to being around the fleshy folk.
Sorry. Did you ever hear the name High Jarl Tormund?
Did I? I don't even know.
Why don't you make me just a base intelligence check?
Okay. That's gonna be a no. That's 5.
Shoot. Oh,
You heard a
shoot.
lot of hewn names while you were there. They all just kind of sound alike.
Yeah.
He was the one that Lady Margaret accused me of murdering. And although we're a far, far way from there now, at some point it'd be in my best interest to clear my name.
Are you under the impression that perhaps he's still alive? Or are you just wanting to verify who actually did the killing?
I have no reason to believe he's not dead, as it seems to be more widely accepted, but I can assure you it wasn't me, so I'd like to know who was responsible. And the only clue I have for it so far is he was murdered with some explosion or explosives.
I would be curious to find out if Lady Margaret is even alive at this point. Judging by these targeted assassinations of leadership, she would be a prime target.
Perhaps.
Make a good point.
She's well protected, though. That would surprise me if she were to be murdered.
Could be also that they want to keep her alive. With her being paranoid, it's causing a whole lot of ruckus.
And for all we know, she could be connected to this in some way. I thought I could trust her, but it appears perhaps not.
In the pursuit of power, removing one's rivals seems to be the most common way to go for the hewn.
Well, in our travels, if we hear anything of the Polar Hewn or the High Jarl Tormund, it'd be greatly appreciated if you shared with me.
I will keep that in mind.
All right.
That's it. Revan heads to rest.
Cool. So you guys sit within the walls of the city and wait for... Are you waiting for sundown? Waiting for just before sundown? Waiting for midnight?
With
Dusk?
my... Yeah, basically what would be the evening equivalent of like 6 a.m. basically.
Yeah.
So 6
Dusk,
p.m.
dusk could be good.
Yeah, dusk.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. So you go ahead and do that. While you're waiting, why don't everybody give me a perception check?
Hey. I get to roll
Check
some
off
these.
the dust.
Oh, which
21.
one is this?
23.
I'm gonna use my player killer one that I usually use for killing PCs. See
Oh, net 20.
I got an Nat 20. Good thing we're
no, that's
wasting all these.
one. It kills PCs.
Wow.
Oh,
Okay.
throw that thing in the garbage right now.
Oh no, I use it to kill players. But
I
Yes.
get it.
Yeah.
You're going to probably be the DM again.
So we can all see through space and time. Okay.
of course, 19 on the other one. But yeah, I got a natural one.
Except for Council. Council is just like staring off into space.
He's distracted by what happened last night.
The rest of you, as you are sitting within the walls of the city, really the only window into the outside that you have is the two open doors. For this case, I'm assuming that you left them open. So outside of the city, it is a bit breezier than it is inside the city, due to big walls. So there is a slight whistling sound that you can hear just kind of through the doorway. But you can see near the base of the mountain, every once in a while, just like while glancing over there, while studying the mountains, whatever, you will see signs of movement. From this distance, to have something that you could see moving, you know that it has to be something big. You're not sure what, but there's a, like, from this perspective, it's like seeing an ant, right? But you are miles and miles away. You can see moving to the base of the mountains.
So it's probably a reasonable size.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Am I able to see any better because of how, like, my spell sniper, like being able to use my Eldritch Blast at a ridiculous distance? Does that affect? Okay, no, my sight's still normal. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think there's actually a feat for better sight.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, your spell sniper just means that you are better at lining up your arm with where your eye is looking
Okay.
than anything else. You're
Okay.
accurate.
I thought I would try. I figured.
Yeah, that's fair.
Nice try.
Also, while you are sitting here for the next probably 5 or so hours, there's no other foot traffic. No one has come in. No one has gone out. You are here alone.
Right.
And so you've really been able to, if you wanted to, like, sprawl out, take up as much space as you want, or you can literally be like right up against next to the wall.
I'd probably be flying around, truthfully, keeping an eye out, looking at the mountains, looking north over the wall to see if anything's coming, knowing we're kind of camped out because we don't want to travel during the day. So that's all we'd be doing.
Yeah. Okay. So you looking northward, you also don't see much foot traffic. Any foot traffic.
Okay.
So now it is right about that time for you guys to be packing up.
Council gets up, dusts off the sand, and
Head out.
starts walking.
Okay. As you guys begin to make your way northward, those of you, again, who had the high perception rolls, you can see that large figure. Again, like, it has left, like, directly west of you, and it is more northward now. But it is still very far away over against the mountain, like the base of the mountain.
And
So-
because there's no tree line or anything, we can see that far, right? It's
Yes.
just sand.
Yeah. What you can actually see now, so now that you are outside the walls of the city, this entire plain of sand, it's slightly inclined. So it's a very, like, shallow incline up to the base of the mountains.
Oh, okay.
So Orin is actually, like, slightly downhill from where the mouth of the mountains is.
Okay. Cool.
So as you are traveling northward and the mountains are getting closer in and the ocean is getting closer in, where would you like to travel?
Well,
Did we?
go ahead.
The only specifics of the direction we got was just north, right?
Right.
Northwest, right?
Well, Assuming that they're trying to start a new city safe place, they would want to be by the ocean for food.
I think we were told they were in the mountains.
Were they in the mountains?
I think we were told that they went to the mountains.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so we follow the mountains until we've. No,
Can Tizal do like
that.
a wisdom like history, some type of check to remember?
I'll pull up my notes. Yeah, this.
I think it's just
I
to the north.
never told you that they were in the mountains. Or if I did, that was a big goof on my part.
In my head, they were also on the shoreline.
Right. That's what. I mean, if you're smart, you put up a civilization by the coast.
What is going on?
If no one
here?
actually remembers where this place is there a chance we should go back and get directions again before we wander out into the wilderness?
I prefer wandering for no particular reason.
Hey, if anyone likes to wander, it's me.
Just gonna say that. You seem like one to wander, Mr. Wander.
You were told that it is a full day's travel northward, and that's it.
Should
Keep heading north.
probably follow the coast northward. Yeah.
Travel a full day north is a small outpost of outcasts called New Order. That's
Yep.
it.
Double check my notes. I don't have anything about mountains, so yeah, we should stick to the shoreline.
Following the coast. Let's do it.
So again, as you are traveling northward as well, you can tell by the time you travel even just an hour or two north, the mountains are considerably closer. What used to be, like 5 miles of sand is now like 3 or maybe even less miles of sand.
Okay.
So
Did
would you
anyone-
like to stay closer to the mountain, stay closer to the shore, try and keep them both at a distance?
Council would vote to walk down the middle to have line of sight on the mountain and the coast.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Unless the thing by the mountain is stalking us. But no one said anything in character, so Council's just walking.
Yeah.
Did none of us say that we see movement at the base of the mountain?
Nope.
No, none of us did.
Oh,
Everyone's just like, huh, all right, let's go.
Huh, that building is moving. That's weird.
Yeah.
All right.
So does anyone want to have a conversation about the gigantic thing we can all see over there?
oh, you mean the
Perhaps.
big thing that we saw earlier, and I could have sworn we talked about that in character, but didn't actually roleplay
Yep.
it?
That's the one.
Monster, I think, very big.
Okay, do I see it now that they've pointed it out? Is it there now that
why
we...
doesn't everybody make me a perception check again?
Ha!
It doesn't seem a wise
Nah,
assumption
natural
to
20.
assume just because something is large, it's a monster.
So we got a natural 20,
8.
Unnatural 20.
unnatural 20, 8,
17.
17.
9 plus 4, 13.
18.
18. So now that the sun has set actually behind the mountains, most of you are not able to see it. Tizal, however, with his ability to fly and get kind of a different perspective, he is, just with like the last little bits of dying daylight, he can spot just that small ant over up against the mountain. The rest of you, however, have lost sight of it.
Is it still in line with us, or is it slightly behind us now that we've walked a bit?
It is still northward of you.
Oh, northward. So it's kind
It's
of...
ahead of us.
All right.
Yes.
So if
We have no
walk
reason to
for
believe
a while...
it's stalking us.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And it's still at the base of the mountains, heading
Yeah.
north, but following the same trajectory as us, which is kind of up to a point.
Yeah.
I would relay that to everyone.
Oh, well, thank you.
The ant is going same direction we are.
Does Tizal have... Is his flying speed faster than his walking speed?
You know it.
It is.
I wonder, Tizal, you or I could fly over there to get a bit of a better look, to have an idea of perhaps what we might be dealing with.
That's where I was going.
If you would trust me with such a task, I will oblige.
Perilous is that which cannot be predicted, and if we know what this thing is, it may help us survive.
I will not fail you.
Weird. And it is in all of our best interest to trust one another at this point until we have a reason not to.
Agreed.
Okay, bye. He's gonna go. He's gonna go kind of parallel toward that creature,
Okay.
using his full flight,
Okay.
full movement. And so, Spencer, tell me if this is fine or not.
Mhm.
But I got my extra 10 feet of movement for, I think, level 2?
Mhm.
Yeah, unarmored movement at level 2.
Mhm.
Before I understood how it worked, I said I wanted to split it.
Mhm.
And it'd still be split, or can I reallocate all the flying speed? Because I'd rather that.
Yeah, if you want to just move it all to flying speed, that's fine.
Okay, all right. Yeah, so I have 60 feet of flight.
Okay. Cool. So you take off towards the mountain.
And I'd be stealthy, by the way. I'm trying to be stealthy as
Okay.
I'm flying.
Okay. Is everybody else still just walking in the direction that they're walking?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely, yeah. Keeping an eye on him if possible, and for any sound to the west.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why don't you then, Tizal, make me a stealth check?
Of course, now that we're focused on the mountains, we get rushed by ocean non and stabbed by tridents.
Yes.
Right. I want to keep the shore at arm's length just because of that.
Right.
Please roll high.
Be like a horror movie where we turn around like, so Felix, and Felix is gone and the water's rippling, like, oh crap.
Couple bubbles.
Right. It's just his cigar floating in the water.
As a nocturnal predator, I have advantage on all stealth checks made while flying in dim light or darkness.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
And I needed it very, very badly because my first roll was a 4.
Oh, dude.
I think it's a +8. My friggin' Adobe just crashed with my character sheet is, but I'm pretty sure it's a 24.
24? Okay.
Jeez. Stealth
That's-
bomb over here.
Whatever this thing is got a 22, so
Oh, dang.
you're doing good. As you begin flying your way towards the mountains, with your 60 feet of movement, it takes you to get the, if you're halfway, we'll say like 2 miles roughly to the mountain. Takes maybe 15 minutes, 10 minutes of flying. You can see as you begin to get closer that this thing is massive, and it is a large creature down on all fours, kind of plodding along the sides of the mountain. You can see just like this like black patch of fur that like starts on the front of its head and goes down its back. That is like very jutted and spiky, very dangerous looking, almost like if you imagine a lion got hit by electricity or something, and just all the hair was like spiked up. And it has some massive horns on its head, and it like big sharp claws. For anyone who's played like Final Fantasy, think of like a behemoth.
And I'm
I
a
go back
chocobo.
into the city and I close the gate.
You're like a chocobo nugget. And you can see this thing easily the size of like a house walking along the mountain. It doesn't seem to have noticed you.
Does it
Would you like-
seem?
Crazy.
Does it
I had to look
seem like angry, docile? Like I know it looks intimidating, but can I get a vibe check?
Give me an insight check. Actually, do you have any like proficiency in nature?
I do in. I got my character sheet. Character sheet back. Survival.
It's not nature.
Not nature.
I would argue stalking a predator. Survival.
Give me an insight check.
But it's
Okay.
the predator, though.
Is it?
Oh, you don't actually know.
7.
7?
7.
As far as you can see, it's walking. It doesn't appear to be stealthy. It doesn't appear to be stalking anything. It's not trying to hide. It's not angry. It's not happy. It's just alive, and it is moving.
Sorry, I'm not allowed to ask questions.
That's on a hike, I guess.
Mhm.
I'm gonna keep stalking it, staying stealthy, trying to figure out what it's doing while trying to maintain my distance.
Okay, go ahead. The rest of you, you're just going to continue walking. Is anybody looking out for Tizal? Or
That's probably the only thing I'm looking at.
okay. Do you have night vision?
Let's find out. No, I don't. So eventually, I assume he disappears. Because
a clue as to who you are.
I'm just going to be
What-
watching
what-
around us, like the ocean and also the mountains.
Okay, go ahead. So why doesn't everybody make me a perception check? If you have dark vision, you can just make a normal perception check. If you don't, you can make it with disadvantage.
Okay.
Got it.
As soon as I can't see him, I'll just listen to make sure stuff doesn't come out of the ocean, I guess.
Nat 1.
10.
15. Oh, with disadvantage. 10. 14.
Okay.
I don't remember if I have dark vision or not. I don't have any note.
I would be surprised if you did, unless you get it for being a warlock.
Look it up.
I don't think you do.
I thought I had.
I don't remember. I don't
We
remember.
can say no for now.
what I
I'll
made.
look.
I have crossbow expert now. Does that count? I shoot a tizzle.
No.
I put my eye on the crossbow bolt.
Sorry. So who rolled what? Jack, you got, or Felix, you got a nat 1. Wander got a 10.
Mm-hmm.
I got
Okay.
14.
14. Still waiting on Captain Revan. Are you just not looking, Revan? Okay. So Wander,
Just assume I don't have it for now, and I'll look it up for next time.
as you are continuing to move forward, now that you are both kind of between the mountains and the ocean, you can hear, ocean waves, just like on the seashore at this point, like just traveling very loudly across this area with really nothing to stop the sound at all. You notice very small bits of movement along the shoreline. But having seen the thing that is over against the mountain and whatever is on the shoreline, whatever's on the shoreline is much smaller. But you do notice just like slight bits of movement. Other than that, nobody notices anything else. I would say even the people who are looking for Tizal do not see him.
Okay.
Because Tizal's black, right?
Does that matter, Barnes?
And trying to be stealthy.
Yes,
Yeah.
he is a stealthy, black-feathered creature at night in the sky.
Yeah.
Find the crow in the sky.
So he is gone from sight and sound.
I assume he's dead and we move on.
Alright.
A cat's gonna leave me on your doorstep, Council.
Tizal, make me... So you're just watching this thing?
Yeah, I'm stalking him. I'm just staring at him.
Make me another stealth check.
Another 24.
Okay.
First one was a natural 1.
As you are flying along, when you first came into sight, it like stopped for a moment and looked up, like to try and see if there was anything on the horizon that it could see, and it doesn't appear to have noticed you, and it just kept moving. It has not looked back to see if you are there or anything. You are just completely like Knight Rider mode behind it.
Sure.
Cool.
I want to keep trying to garner intent from this thing however I can.
Okay, go ahead and make me Just
Survival?
another insight check.
Okay. Phew, jeez, every other roll is bad tonight so far. Insight? 7.
7.
Yep.
It's hard to tell.
I'd rather you fail your insight than your stealth.
Agreed.
Because one of those leads
Yeah.
to death. You just throw palm trees at you like a javelin.
I deflect missile.
Is that an ice boulder?
Oh gosh.
Yeah. So you
Okay,
guys,
yeah, that's it.
everybody continues to make their way northward.
Does Wander say anything about the figures walking on the beach ahead of us?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Council would stop then, as soon as Wander points that out.
So when Wander, do you point it out like immediately, or do you wait a little bit to point it out?
No, I point it out as soon as I see it. Yeah.
Okay.
I let
You
everyone
can.
know.
So the whatever it is that's down by the shoreline, you can see one that there are multiple of them, and two that they don't seem to be like moving in any direction, at least quickly as far as you can see. They seem to just be in one spot.
Now that he's pointed it out, can we see?
You could make me another perception check, but you still don't have night vision, so make it with disadvantage.
Well, I got a nat 20 on this one.
Can't get lower than a 1.
Nat 1 before nat. This is very polarized dice roll.
Yeah, this
Right.
is.
Council's got his mask on backwards. It's on the back of his head.
So Felix, you can now see that there are a number of small things that are moving along the shoreline as well. But similar to what Wander reported, they're not moving. They're not. Well, they are moving, but they're not like, traveling in any direction. It's like they're doing things down by the shoreline.
I mean, I wonder if do they look like non? Can I tell?
With a natural 20, I'll give it to you. They probably are smaller than non.
Smaller than non.
They don't look like our fish friends.
Assuming no one is intimately familiar with the fauna of this continent, we don't know what they are.
Probably best we move on and hope they don't notice us.
As the gap narrows, we have to make a choice. Do we get close to these things by the coast, or do we get close to the large thing by Tizzle?
Well, I have a question. I am native to this continent. Would I have familiarity with ocean-going creatures?
You can roll me a nature check.
Do it, Wander. Save us.
Nope. That's what's 2 plus 3? That's 5.
Really,
fails nature check.
Could be anything.
I mean-
there's loads of stuff around the ocean here.
The fact that nature is an intelligence skill is really dumb.
They did that on purpose.
Right.
Let's make all the druids bad at nature checks.
Yeah.
If I were to make a choice, I would rather fight a group of small things than one large thing.
Okay.
So I propose we move forward and prepare ourselves for combat if necessary.
I'm with you there.
A bit of diplomacy can go much further than a sword can. Perhaps we should prepare to not battle unless we are absolutely forced to.
Let's hope.
There's no reason any of these creatures ahead of us aren't friendly.
Okay. I keep walking.
Doesn't matter if they're friendly or not. It's if they're hungry or not.
So you alter your trajectory slightly and begin to make your way, as you're continuing to walk mostly northward, you are now also making your way slightly east and towards the ocean.
Yeah.
Felix and Wander, who both saw them previously, they stay where they are. So you, within, a half a mile, they're way further back down the shore than you are.
So we passed them?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And they're not as far as those who could see them can see. They're not pursuing you.
Okay.
It
And as we
appears
got
they were just spectators and aren't following us, so that's a good sign at the very least.
As we got close to them, we couldn't see what they were. At least if they were humanoid or not.
Well, since they stayed in the same spot and you're still walking northward, you're not really getting closer to them.
Oh, I thought they were like ahead of us.
No, they basically when Wander saw them, they were directly east of you, like at the shoreline.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought they were ahead of us. We would have to make a choice.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay.
So you are now walking slowly closer to the shoreline. Tizal, you just still flying along? Make me another stealth check.
I'm still stalking.
I was gonna say if we had Tizol with us, we could have gone to investigate what they were, but don't want to leave him by him.
23.
23, yeah. It doesn't seem to notice you, doesn't seem to care about your existence at all. Make me an insight check. Also, at this point, Tizal has been gone for like 30 minutes. Upwards of that.
Council assumes he got distracted like most around, and
You said 10?
10, yeah.
10? You're getting to know its movements a little bit better. It's definitely... there are a couple things that you can rule out. It's not stalking something. Again, it's not trying to be stealthy. You know that for sure. But it is definitely headed somewhere. There's a definitive place that it is heading to. It's not just aimlessly wandering.
Right. Can I look to the horizon maybe to see if I can spot based on like where the mountains are going, the fact he's following the mountains? Could I maybe deduce the fact that he is going to a certain location?
Sure. So you're looking northward, like along the mountains?
Yeah, along the mountains to try to see like, okay, maybe what's at the end of this that he's looking for?
Why don't you make me a perception check?
Sure. Would you say I have advantage?
No.
Dope.
You don't
12?
have disadvantage.
Cool.
12?
12?
You could see somewhere up on the horizon, the mountains do kind of snake back for just a little bit. So there might be like a canyon or something that the creature's going to. Like it might be going home wherever it lives. Like it might be going to sleep for the night or something. You're not exactly sure.
Okay, so toward the northern kind of the shoreline, like where it crosses, where it connects with the shoreline. Before that, there's like a little inset into the mountains that potentially could be a landing spot.
Yeah.
Okay. I would head back to the group with that information. I'm not going to push my luck anymore.
All right. Make me your survival check just to see if you can find your way back to the group with them continuing walking and you flying off after this creature.
A what check? Sorry.
Survival.
Survival?
Yeah, buddy.
to see if you could survive.
Ooh.
Pathfinding is survival.
14.
14? Yeah, without too much problem, when you are flying back to the group, you're able to correct your triangle math and meet up with them appropriately. While he is doing that, why doesn't everybody else make me a perception check again?
I was waiting 20 minutes for a triangle math reference, and it took some time.
It did, and it's been 40
See
minutes.
something swooping from the sky, I shoot it.
17.
21.
17.
Rolling so good.
17, 21, 17?
18.
18.
Dang.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just like,
Yeah, so after seeing whatever it was on the shoreline, knowing that there's something off to the left, you guys are a little bit more alert than you have been for the first bit of this journey. And you solidly confirm there is nothing around you.
okay.
It is, you can hear the ocean waves, especially now that you're getting closer. You can hear the ocean very well. The wind is basically nonstop out here. It's not intense, but it is it is a breeze. It's stronger than a breeze. And you hear all of those things, but you don't see anything down by the water. You don't see anything along the mountainside. And
Okay.
Tizal rejoins you.
Welcome back.
Hello. I did not get a very good understanding of the motive of the creature, but it is as big as house, four-legged, hairy, dark hair going down its spine, big claws, and it seems to be going somewhere where I am uncertain.
As long as it's not going to cross paths with us.
It depends where we stop. I have no reason to believe it is not going to either the very farthest point of the mountain that should connect with the shoreline, or I did see a small, how you say, hole in mountain that could be where he goes.
It may be returning from hunting. From my experience, most predators hunt during the day and return to their dens at night. Let's hope we don't become a late night meal.
You should be careful. I do not. I could not sense if it was hostile, but a predator will prey regardless of mood.
Let's stay close to the coastline then.
Aye.
Did you find anything along the way?
We passed a small group of something, but we did not get close enough for me to see.
Smaller creatures.
Were
Small.
they fish people, the nun?
No.
Are you being followed now?
Unfortunately, I can't see in the dark.
Can I check?
Sure.
They're right behind us. Hi, I'm Paul.
They're like right there, like a foot behind us. Like, whoa!
They're right there.
They join the conversation. Yeah, I don't know if they're following us.
What were those things, guys?
Oh, hey, man.
Yeah, if you want to make a perception check, looking back south along the shoreline, you can.
Or survival, right?
Nope, just perception.
Do you and your survival checks?
My eyes fall out. I get a natural one.
You can't see anything along the shoreline. You're not sure what they were talking about.
So
I- Take your word for it. I guess I don't see anything.
at Tizal making that comment, I'd like to look behind us. I don't know. I guess nothing specifically says I have dark vision, so I probably don't have dark
You
vision.
do not have dark vision.
Okay, yeah. So never mind. I mean, I've
Welcome to
glanced back.
Normie Land.
Okay.
That's what
I mean, you
secret
can make
felt
it.
like.
You can make a perception check just at disadvantage.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll do that. I mean, he would turn his head and look at least at Tizal
Sure.
mentioning that. Ooh. 11? 11.
Looking back along the shoreline, you're not able to see anything either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Council keeps walking.
All right.
Do you, before we go, do you want me to go look behind us to be sure?
They didn't move as we passed. And we
I
haven't
don't
moved
know
in
that
a
that's
while.
necessary.
I think we can just keep our eyes out from this point forward.
Council and I can keep an eye behind us. Just kidding.
Sick.
We'll stop every couple of minutes, take a look around, and continue if we don't see anything.
Yeah, we should push on for New Warren.
My eyes are locked on the monster as we travel. I want to see where it goes if possible.
Okay. So as you are traveling northward, you've decided you're going to be stopping every couple minutes to take a look, or
Yeah, every 1,000 feet or so.
Maybe
Stopping?
for like
Well, just kind of slow down.
maybe for like 30 seconds.
Right, yeah. Not like
Yeah.
actual stuff.
sure. Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, it'll still take you a little bit longer to traverse than it normally would. Not going to make a huge impact on your arrival time to New Orin. But you do so. Why doesn't everybody make me not a survival check, a perception check? Friggin' Luca,
Do
you got
I
me
add
saying it.
disadvantage?
Yeah, if you can't see it at night, make it
Oh,
disadvantage.
poo.
Ooh, that was a 19.
13.
Perception, you said?
Perception.
Another 11.
13, 11, 10,
17.
17.
At disadvantage? Holy crap.
Yeah, I got a 19 and a 13.
Wow.
Chisel?
10. Do I get any bonuses to perception in the dark? I don't think I do.
No, I don't think you do either.
You just don't get disadvantage, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just have some form of dark vision, so you don't get disadvantage.
Sure.
All right. So, Council, as
Yay.
you are traveling forward, being the one who has made the conscious decision to stop the party, scan, listen, look, whatever, it's quiet. You don't.
Okay.
I mean, besides over the sound of the ocean, you hear nothing. You can't see the base of the mountain, so you don't see anything that way.
Okay.
And you can't see back to where you had previously seen the creatures along the shoreline. So you're pretty sure that you're alone out here.
Okay. He will be more comfortable, but remain vigilant.
Okay.
But
What
relay that
time is
information.
it at this point?
At this point, it's
Or
past midnight.
Okay.
Yeah, you're pushing into the early morning hours for sure.
One thing I was considering is as we approach this settlement, one would imagine that they will have some type of security that we'll need to. Are we worried about being detected by the New Orin scouts or guards, if you will? And do we want to sneak up on them? Do we just want to waltz in and ask them how the rebellion is going?
I think if we're here on a diplomatic mission, it'd be wise to not try to conceal ourselves and be suspicious.
I agree with Felix.
I think showing up in the dead of night will not make it seem like a diplomatic mission. We should
We're
find
still-
settlement and wait for morning if we get there before morning.
I mean, we're still out a ways, right?
Probably.
Yeah,
We don't
Yeah,
see
it's
any lights ahead of us or anything.
It's a day's travel, so
it is a full
Yeah,
day's
so it'll
travel.
be-
So 16 hours of walking.
Right.
You have
Should
been
be
walking
well into
for,
daylight.
yeah, like
when we get
7
there.
or 8 at this point.
And doesn't most travel happen at night?
it wouldn't be too crazy if we showed up.
Yeah.
Right?
So Tizel's stupid and he should get out of here.
Regardless, if somebody walks into the settlement at night, even if that's what, if someone walked into your house at noon, would you be cool with it?
We're not going into someone's
no.
house. It's a city.
Yeah.
It's not a city; it's a settlement.
Right, which is a collection of abodes.
Right. Tizel's dumb. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Could eat my
Yeah,
salad.
that's just your bird culture.
Eat your salad.
All right. You
All right,
guys
let's keep walking.
continue to make your way northward. Now feeling a little bit more relaxed. You're not stopping every couple hundred feet or 1,000 feet, whatever, to pause. You make pretty good time. If everybody wants to make me another perception check just as you're walking, go for it.
15 at disadvantage.
Was that a 12, Wander?
12. Yeah.
15.
17.
17.
So 17 and 17, you can see now, as you have gotten into the early morning hours, you can actually see the sunlight starting to hit the very peaks of the mountains off to your west. And you can see that there are also, similar to like the size of creature that you saw along the shoreline, you can see small creatures up on the tops of the mountains that are moving at this point in the wee morning hours. And it's only just because they are getting hit by the sunlight, like as it is coming up over the horizon. The sun is not even on you yet, but it is hitting the tops of the mountains.
Are they as big?
As
The thing we saw.
The behemoth.
Yeah.
no,
Okay.
no, they're much smaller.
Okay.
Do we do it like with a 17? Would I see if that big behemoth is still around, or like if we passed like that inlet in the mountain where it could have dipped off?
So you have passed that at where there was a canyon in the mountains. Yes.
Okay, and now there's no sign of that thing anymore.
You don't see it. No.
Okay, all right. Then I would definitely reiterate that to the group, and that we see small creatures up on the mountaintop.
Yep.
All sorts of fire dive.
And you can. Let's see. Who got the 17 again? Both Felix and Tizal. I'll say, yeah, Felix, you may have noticed the things up on like the mountain peaks. Tizal, you probably noticed up on the horizon now, you can see, it's still very far distant, but you can see like a lump of something. There is some kind of disturbance in the horizon.
Disturbance.
Could be a settlement, could be a behemoth, could be a dragon turtle. You'll find out eventually.
Squirtle.
Hobu is north.
Hope we lifted, jeez.
He's tiny. Yeah. It's big.
No, I would stop everyone and just kind of point ahead and say what I see, and
Could be Nuoren.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
Keep walking.
All right, you keep walking forward. Within the next couple hours of walking, the sun does come up, and you are able to see this. It looks like a small plateau. There are walls around the outside, or there's a point where the earth comes up and is like flattened off. Like a very small plateau, and the outsides of whatever this is incredibly reflective of sunlight. You can see that the sunlight is bright off of it.
Meaning it like it. Okay, never mind.
What council would turn to Felix? Oh wait, no. Do people point this out? Can we all see the reflective?
Yeah, now that the sun is up, you can see this on the horizon. And looking behind you, you no longer see Orin in the distance.
Felix, are you able to tell if that's metal or crystal? What sort of substance is reflecting ahead of us?
Am I?
Why don't you? What skill do you use for, or what do you use for your earth knowledge thing? Is it just history, or?
Yeah, intelligence history.
Why don't you make me just a straight intelligence check?
Council's just curious if it's a big metal fortification, or if it's a natural thing, or someone put up some mirrors. I don't know. Not that it really matters. We'll find out as we get close.
8.
8? You're not sure what it is. It's definitely it's not like stone. You can confirm that much. It's not sand. This is a thing. It's something.
I say
shove
that
it.
exactly.
I shove them into the ocean. You have no further use to me.
If the city of Oren had magical defenses, any previous or any person who previously lived in Oren may be able to copy such defenses.
The defenses of Oren were made thousands of years ago. I'd be amazed if someone could replicate them in such a short amount of time.
Possible.
Possible. I'd be curious to see if this is natural or something they've built. I assume we'll find out.
Mm-hmm.
But Evan, step through it.
Yeah, we'll just kind of slowly stop walking and let Revan keep walking until he's 100 feet ahead of us, and then we'll stop walking. You're doing great, sweetie.
He walks backwards with both middle fingers up.
But does he stay 100 feet ahead? Because that's fine.
Yep. This is your fault.
Screw you guys. Yeah.
As we're walking, I want to take note of the compass as well. It's still pointing towards the mountains.
It is pointing southwest now.
So it was directly west of Oren, but now that we've gone north, it's kind of pointing back.
Southwest.
Okay.
Yep.
That makes sense. I share that with the group too, but yeah, that makes sense.
Ah, yes, magical items. So I pull up my scrimshaw to see what it's showing here.
Ooh, good question. You
Yeah.
see a number of people walking. Not terribly descriptive, unfortunately.
Do
Okay.
we see Wanda consort his scrimshaw?
Is
I
wondering-
don't attempt to hide it this time. I just
Okay.
kind of hold it out. Whoever is interested can glance.
What?
So
Can I tell the race of the people walking?
I was gonna say, does people mean hewn or?
No.
Okay.
No, it's little more than like stick figures.
Do they kind
Just
of look like
bipeds.
cave paintings, like carvings in the little thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So, are you investigating the scrimshaw at all, or
Oh, Council's fascinated as soon as he sees it. It's like, wait, what?
okay?
So
So-
is Felix.
He moseys up to Wanda, like, hey, friend, how's it?
So what you can see is essentially what looks like a large, like ivory tusk of some kind that is capped on one end by like a leather caplet of sorts, held in place with like several metal studs. And to make the pictures on the scrimshaw, there are actual carvings like into the ivory itself that move around. So it's not like when Wander is looking at it, it shows one thing. It's when he's looking at it, whatever was on it previously will like shift to be the picture. Like the lines will basically like diverge and converge to form whatever the new picture is.
Okay.
Okay.
Wanda. I have many questions, but first is, where did you get that?
I found it.
Was it? It appears to be some sort of horn or tooth. Was it from the corpse of a creature, or?
I don't know a terrible amount about it. Just seemed interesting when I found it, so I kept it with me.
And what of the nature of these images, from your experience?
From my experience, it typically shows the history of a particular location. It's something that happened. It's something that happened here. I usually can't tell how long ago, but it is something from the past, a window into the past, if you will.
Fascinating. Vague, but useful.
Revan puts a hand on Consul's shoulder and says, "For one shroud in secrets and mystery, you certainly have an awful lot of questions for the rest of us." And he just gives him a smile.
Council just stares blankly at Revan and then back to water.
All right. Continue northward.
Yeah.
Okay. Within the next 2.5 hours, you are within a football field or soccer field for Alex length away from this structure. What you can see is there is some kind of walls around something that are made of what appear to be like a glass. And it's a translucent, so not completely see-through, not completely opaque, casing around the outside of this thing. However, the walls only come up to about 10 to 15 feet high, depending on what part of wall you are looking at. And on the inside, you can see that there are a number of structures, as well as a more expertly made block in the middle of this. And from this vantage point, you can see there is an opening, like an archway into whatever this is.
So it's the walls are made of glass all the way around.
You can't see the other side, but
Right,
from what
but
you
like,
can
from
see,
what we can see.
from what you can see, it is solid glass.
I hope they're
sorry,
not throwing any stones.
Can I tell if this glass is like recently made?
Once you get a little bit closer, you could probably check, but not from this distance.
Sure.
And I might have missed this. Is the settlement, is this plateau circular or rectangular or?
You can't tell from this side. What you can see is that it is curved, at least what you can see of it.
Okay.
So its closest point is at you, and then it does curve away from you.
Got it.
But it's hard to tell if
Triangle.
it continues. No,
Triangle math, it is going upwards, like it's sloping upwards to this plateau.
No, this is on
No?
the same level as you.
Got it.
Is Tizal flying while we're walking? Or you're walking?
I would alternate back and forth between flying and walking if anyone's talking. So I wouldn't want to miss parts of conversation strategically. So if we're talking, he'd be on the ground walking.
Do we see anyone on the walls, like guard towers or outside the gate, or?
Make me a perception check.
Can I do the same? Be looking ahead?
Yeah, sure. Anyone can give me a perception check.
17.
Ooh. Not natural 20.
18.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
18.
18. Looking at the tops of the walls, you don't see anything. It's also I apologize if I made it sound more grandiose than it is. This structure is about 200 feet long.
Okay.
So it's not like Orin size, like massive city. This is a very small settlement.
A camp?
Wide, right? Like from what we can see, it's 100 feet wide.
From what you can see, it's about, call it 175 feet long.
Okay. Like a fort.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Let's keep walking.
I would be very careful with the walls. This material is known to kill my kind.
That was pretty good.
Oh my god.
Well done. Well done.
I
Just
so
corpses
thought
of-
you were being serious.
Mid-sentence, Tizal actually slammed into the side.
Bam!
There's just piles of rotting bodies.
Feathers everywhere.
This is US Bank Stadium all over again.
It's
Find
picturing
Tizal's body just twitching a little bit.
I'm just picturing Tizal looking at US Bank Stadium in horror, like all the lives.
Like the dog with the cupcake.
PTSD flashbacks.
Okay,
So is
sorry.
Tizal shaking a bit as we approach?
Yeah, he's low. He's leaving some white traces behind him.
Are there any signs of damage? Like, has this place been attacked, or has cracks or chips?
What'd you roll on your perception check?
17.
Not as far as you can see. It looks like it's pretty smooth glass.
Okay.
Again, like once you get closer, you might be able to look, but from this distance, you can't see any details like that.
Okay.
Let's head up to the doors.
Shit. Yeah. Yeah, keep walking.
As you walk closer, you begin to see within this area. This is New Orin.
Yeah.
You can see that there is movement inside. It's not like hurried movement. There's not people like going to get weapons or anything like that. There just seems to be every once in a while like people kind of walking past the opening. And when they walk in front of the opening, you can see them clearly. But then as soon as they go behind this kind of like darkened glass, you don't see them anymore.
Okay.
And yeah, they're just seem to be going about their business, not really caring.
There's no guards or anything. This is kind of existing.
No, not as far as you can see. And there's no doors on this archway either. It's just completely open.
Okay. Are we approaching, coming inside now?
If you would like to, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. As you walk into the city of Orin, or the city of New Orin, you do see now that inside the walls, if you are looking back at the walls are completely see-through. Like crystal clear, you can see out perfectly fine. And there are a number of smaller abodes to the eastern side of this town. There are a number of stalls that are set up, like almost like back in Orin, like where people sell a number of things. And there are, 2 or 3 people that are kind of like setting out stuff for the day to sell things. And in the center of the town, there is one like expertly made large rectangular building with like perfectly smooth walls, with also a doorway that you can see almost directly straight on from where you walk into the city, and you can see out the other side of the building to the pathway continuing on as well, north out of town.
Huh. Are these abodes made of stone or wood? Or?
They are definitely made of an earthen material.
Okay.
Not wood.
Can I tell how old these buildings are, including like the glass?
Sure, yeah. Use your history dwarven thing.
Oh, as we pass the archway, Consul's going to look to his either left or right to kind of gauge how thick the walls are.
Mm-hmm. These walls are about foot thick.
Oh, wow.
Got a dirty 20.
Dirty 20? You can tell this is a newer structure. All of it. You can't tell quite on the rectangular building in the center of town yet, but as far as like the building directly to your right and the glass walls around the outside of this settlement, you can see it's very new in construction.
The walls, at least, have been built recently.
So they left Orin, found a location, and decided to build here.
Someone must be a skilled architect.
I'm very interested in these walls.
Have you seen this type of material in Oren?
I don't think we have.
How familiar, like, are glass things familiar?
Yeah. Glass is a common material.
Presumably someone with a gift of fire might be able to
Oh yeah.
make quite a bit of glass.
Assuming we are surrounded by sand, that would make sense. You only
That
need
does
two
not
other
make
materials.
sense.
At the mention of this, you see a man poke his head out of this opening into this rectangular building in the center of town.
Mhm.
And he kind of pokes his head out and he sees you, just kind of like nods a little bit, and then he stands himself up and just stands in the doorway and watches you guys have this conversation.
Hello, stranger. We're new here. Can you tell us anything about this particular abode?
Oh, absolutely. He begins to walk forward, and you can see he's a tall, gangly man with dark, not like a bowl cut hair, but not long hair either. Kind of like shagged off to one side. He's wearing very like loose, kind of like linen pants. Imagine like what a like super hippie yogi would wear.
Right. Does he have a poncho?
It's kind of like that. Yeah, it's like he's got like a tunic on, but like it's made of a like a very faded purple material, and it's open, like clear all the way down to his navel.
Okay.
And around the collar of this tunic, you can see there's like light blue embroidery of some kind. And he just walks forward right up to you, and he says, "The name's James. Pleasure to have you." He sticks out his hand to shake your hands.
Pleasure to meet you, James. I am known as Counsel. I shake his hand.
When you grab his hand, he pauses for a moment, and he just kind of like he like stares into your soul for a little bit. He just kind of like pats the top of your hand, shakes it, and then lets go.
Okay. Do I feel any different?
Make an insight check
Okay.
on yourself.
Would we see that? Would we
Yeah.
be weirded out by what just happened?
Ooh, I rolled a 19. Insight. And a proficient insight. 23.
Don't feel any different.
Boom. All right, that's fine.
You're not sure if this is a normal human greeting or not, or a hewn greeting or not.
Okay.
Tizal, yeah, from what you've seen Hewn do, it might be a little strange, but maybe he's just really friendly.
Okay.
Not sure.
Does anyone else shake his hand? Does he do it to anyone else?
Yeah, he holds his hand out to shake everyone's hand.
Okay.
Does it seem odd to me at all, being a Hewn?
It's weird. I mean,
Okay.
it's kind of that like same feeling you get with like someone who's been a stoner for a really long time. Like he's just a little bit gone. It's a little gray around the edges.
Feel attacked.
I said a really long time.
Fair. I would give him my wing. Yeah.
He grabs like as much of your wing as he can. And he doesn't pause as long, but he still pauses, and he does the same thing, like grabs your wing and then kind of like puts his other hand on top of it, shakes it.
Nice to meet you, James.
It's a pleasure to meet you as well.
I am Tizal.
Tizal, right. He holds his hand out to any of the others.
I'll shake his hand.
Okay.
Felix.
Make me an insight check, Felix.
Natural one.
Oh no.
Okay, it is the sirens again. I'm like, this is a weird soundtrack. It's like the exact same pitch as the sirens from earlier
I
today.
just noticed them as well. Like right before you said that, I was like, what the heck?
I don't hear anything.
Spencer greased some palms.
Oh, I
That's
hear,
actually-
I hear it.
It's odd they're doing it at night as well. And I don't remember there being a tornado awareness day ever. Is that a new thing? Okay. Anyway.
I just thought
Michelle knew
whenever
right away.
there was, I feel like whenever there's an active tornado is a tornado's awareness day.
I am now aware of tornadoes. Crystal says they are freaking annoying. He does the same thing to you, Felix. Kind of grabs your hand, puts another hand on top, shakes it. Says, nice to have you too, Felix.
It feels a little culty. Is this a cult?
He then looks to both Captain Revan and Wander.
Yeah, oh, I definitely give him my hand for a handshake, for sure.
Yeah.
When he grabs your hand, Wander, it's kind of the same thing. Like, he definitely stares into you a little bit more than what you've seen Hune do. Especially most Hune that you've come in contact with, like, they'll see you and like avert their gaze because they're just like, oh my gosh, that's Bigfoot. I don't want to piss it off.
Right.
He is totally comfortable just like looking into you.
I'm mildly unsettled, but very grateful.
Says, great to have you too.
And thank you for the warm welcome.
You're very welcome. Now that you're this close to him, you can also see all the way coming from his back, because his arms are exposed, so he just has this tunic on. You can see coming down the left side, his whole left arm, all the way to his fingertips, is just covered in one long sequence of tattoos made of a red ink.
I see you have some very interesting. What's the word that the fleshy creatures do for the permanent ink on the skin?
Tattoos.
Tattoos, yes. There's some very interesting tattoos on your arm there.
Kind of holds up his hand. He says, I suppose they are interesting markings. Aye.
Is there a glow to them at all?
Make me a perception check.
You said your name was James, correct?
Tis. And he's still holding his hand out towards Revan.
Oh, no, I shake it. Absolutely
Oh,
shake
okay.
it. Yeah. Yep. Sorry, maybe I was muted when I said that, but yeah, I shake it.
Okay.
And I
so
rolled a 14.
14. When he shakes your hand and he puts his left hand on top of yours, looking down, there is almost a slight glow to it. It's very faint.
The guy
Does it resemble what mine do?
Similar.
A little bit of a- okay.
Yeah.
The guy we told had the firepower was Jason, right?
James.
Was it
Jason.
James?
It's
Okay.
Is
Jason.
it Jason?
My notes say
Yeah.
Jason.
It's Jason.
Oh, it is Jason.
Spencer's shaking
his
his
name
head.
Oh, my notes definitely say Jason.
Mine
Yeah,
say
mine do
Jason
too.
too.
Weird.
I'd
Is it
like to
supposed to
get
be-
insight check Spencer.
Is this
Yeah, go
supposed to be
ahead.
James?
Insight check the DM. I'm going to roll it.
Wait, I lost you for a second there. Did you say it's supposed to be James and not Jason?
It's supposed to be James.
Okay,
Oh,
because
okay.
when
Oh.
I have talked to Stefan about Jason.
It's
Yeah.
Jason.
Yep,
Yep,
I have
that's
Jason
right.
as well.
Because I was about to ask, like, okay, can we talk to Jason?
My
That's
original notes do say James.
Oh,
Weird.
really?
Yeah.
Why do I have... Okay, whatever, it doesn't matter.
I must have
How
started
did, how did multiple of us get Jason?
Sorry
think
if I
one-
ever flipped.
Maybe one person said it.
How did
Yeah.
you make an error? It's fine.
It's James. It's James. I have Jason in my notes from last
Immersion.
week. Something got crossed along the way.
I have Oliver written down.
Oh, no.
Just looks at, oh no. Just looks at all of you and says, what brings you to New Orin?
In the spirit of communication and transparency, we were asked to visit on behalf of Orin to open a line of communication the Magister there wishes to understand how things are going. But to be clear, our allegiance is not set in stone. We are here as a favor, not with any specific agenda.
So you've talked to Alabaster then?
Correct. He has recently removed the indentured collars from us after performing a previous favor.
Aye. I told him he shouldn't have done that.
Remove the collars or add them in the first place?
Use them in the first place.
Agreed.
So how is my brother?
Okay.
And looking at his features now, you can tell that these two, they do look very similar, except James has much darker features than Alabaster does.
Like darker as in he's been out the sun, or darker as in darker hair?
Both. He has more black hair, and he's definitely more tanned from being out in the sun. Alabaster is very pale with very light blonde hair.
Okay. We do. He did not inform us that you were related.
Oh, he tried to cast me off so quickly.
Aye, this comes as a surprise to us, but
We would like to hear the story of how that happened from your perspective.
Did he tell you his side?
His answers are vague at
You didn't
best.
tell us much of anything about what was going on here or who you are.
Well, I'd be happy to share as much with you as you'd like to hear.
I believe that's a tale we'd all be interested in hearing.
Oh, well, come on in. And he then kind of like turns around and does like, come on, and tries to usher you into this large square building, or this large rectangular building.
Okay. Two things as you start walking. Sorry,
Yeah.
if anyone else wants to go. Okay. The people in this town, a mishmash of races similar to Orin,
From what you can see, they are all hewn.
all hewn.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You can only see a couple people. The abodes that are on the eastern side of the town do look to be almost like small huts for each of the people that live here. Everyone is dressed very plainly, like very similar linen, loose-fitting clothing to what James is wearing. No embroidery as far as you can see, just more like muted browns, grays, whites. But they are just kind of going about their business. Again, there is a number of people that have set up stalls on the western side of town. And you can see actually now that there is a doorway, one heading south, there's one heading north, and there is one heading west towards the mountains.
Okay. And secondly, Council's going to ask while walking, did you construct these walls?
With a little bit of help from some friends, aye.
From some friends, I see.
Oh, well, you see, from time to time, we do have the occasional dwarf, like your friend Felix here, who come to town to trade, and often we'll ask them for a bit of service as a form of payment. And with their gift for crafting and refining the earth, we were able to get them to stand up the sand that I could then blast it.
I assume that has to do with your tattoos?
And he, again, kind of like holds up his hand and he says, I suppose it does.
Council keeps walking.
And if we want to take a
James.
break soon, we can.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I describe the large creature that was walking and ask him, do you know of these creatures?
Hi.
Are there something we should be wary of, as we saw one on our way here?
As long as you're within the walls of my city, you have no need to fear them. Outside,
Outside.
you should be very wary.
Aye. It's good to know. Thank you.
Do they have a name?
The behemoths.
Good enough for me.
That's all we've ever known them as. They've never introduced themselves as anything else.
But they've been known to kill, is what you're saying.
Oh, they've been known to do more than that. They've
Uh-huh.
wrecked a caravan or two.
Oh. Well,
So
we'll
we
be
got
sure
darn
to
lucky
steer
during the
clear.
night last night then.
Aye.
He just kind of nods. Says, traveling during the night does seem to have its advantages if you want to stay safe. He says, myself, I prefer the sunlight.
And do you know of another settlement or camp north of here along the shore? We saw a group of smaller creatures, smaller than the dwarven even. But they were unfamiliar to us and we didn't stop to engage them.
Where did you see him?
About a half a day south, I believe.
Near the coast. They
Right,
weren't
Down near the
along
coastline.
They
Yeah,
weren't,
right
ocean
along the
water.
water.
Are you sure they weren't just some of the coastal non?
Oh.
They may have been. They just seemed small. It seemed unusual from what any of us were used to seeing.
The coastal non are quite a bit smaller than the deep sea dwelling non.
And fairly peaceful from what I understand.
They are could be fearsome, but I've never encountered one that I was afraid of. Anyway, come on, come. And he again kind of like tries to usher you inside.
Yeah. I'll go inside.
Before we go in there, can I do some like? Do I trust what's happening right now?
Yeah, he's acting weird.
Give me an insight check.
I do it too. Don't kill me, bro. I don't do it. Oh, well, maybe I got an 11. Let's see. 15.
11.
15, 11,
Dirty 20.
dirty
Nice.
20.
Does Wander, before Wander expresses hesitation, does Wander even fit?
You'd have to duck down to get in, but yeah, you could fit.
Okay.
I just imagine one like walking up and then just kind of going down and then walking forward and then coming back up again.
I mean, just to get through the doorway, you'd have to duck.
Yeah.
Once you're
Okay.
actually inside, you could stand up full height, and like the very top of your head might brush the ceiling, but you'd fit.
Okay. This is insight.
If you want to.
Okay. 19.
19.
Mhm.
He's odd. You're not sure that he's malicious, but he is odd. He hasn't done anything that would make you think he's trying to harm you.
From Council's experience
Mhm.
doing what he did before adventuring, does it
Mhm.
seem like this guy has...
Wait, what was it that he did before adventuring?
Who'd you like to know? Does it seem like...
He's a botanist.
Yes. Does it seem like this guy's seen or contacted something and it's left him a bit Jack Sparrow-y, kind of a little out of it?
Like a warlock?
Yeah, like a warlock, like a less grounded Revan.
I don't think that you would have specific insight into that.
Okay, yeah, I was just trying to see. Okay.
Yeah.
James.
Yeah.
Before we go in, I apologize for all the questions. I'm new. I don't know this land, and we're new here. But one other group that we saw along our travel here from Orin was some other creatures in the mountains near the tops. Do you know of them?
Oh, it very
It
well
kind
might
of
have
describes what we saw.
been Dwarn.
Oh.
Some of the
Ah.
peak Dwarn, he gestures towards Felix. The opposite of your friend here. they're known to explore high up into the tops of the mountains.
Aye, that makes sense. Thank you for easing my curiosity.
I'm only here to shed light.
So it seems.
Is there any Kool-Aid around here?
A big thing of purple Kool-Aid.
Oh no!
Yeah. Are they celebrating Midsummer?
Oh no!
This is New Jamestown.
No.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, I guess Tizzle will walk in, but he's gonna stick along like the edge of the wall and stay near any windows to have like an escape plan ready in case things break bad.
Sure. So he, getting some of that hesitancy from you, he stops and says, if you'd like, we can converse outside. I understand that your kind doesn't like to be caged. May not be as comfortable inside a building. There is a skylight, and he motions to it. You can see that there's a like perfectly square hole cut, or hole. That's the right word. Cut into the ceiling of this place. Says otherwise we could talk outside.
I appreciate your accommodation. I do not appreciate your kind talk.
Are there multiple rooms to this place?
You're inside?
Oh, I assume we're approaching the doorway and there's no door. Like, are there walls inside, or is it just like a big single room thing?
From what you can see looking inside, there's basically 2 rooms.
Okay. So Tizol could stand at the doorway while we discuss things in the first room or something? I don't know.
I will enter. I have no problem.
Before we do that, can we take a quick break, please?
Yes, absolutely we can.
Thank you. I need a
Yeah,
glass of water.
I'm shoveling pizza into my face so I
Perfect.
can be done in a couple minutes and turn my camera back on.
Sounds
We'll be
good.
So you saying me
Wait.
slow eating tacos for 30 minutes earlier wasn't great on camera?
It was great.
It was great.
One of the highlights.
I'll be back.
Be back soon, someday. Bye.
Didn't eat honey. No, not a bit.
Makes me think of the Shire.
Yeah. Down from the door from which began. Have you seen the first Lord of the Rings, Luca, yet? You said you were going to watch those movies this year.
I definitely did, and I've not. So
We gotta get Luca when we're all vaccinated and we can see each other again.
you know,
Gotta get the 4K
Could do
Blu-ray.
a remote viewing party?
It's true. Yeah.
I mean, so tomorrow night, my mother-in-law is renting out a theater in Woodbury because they let
Oh.
you do that for fairly cheap now because theaters are hurting. I don't know if they'll let you like pick your own movie, but if we're all vaccinated, I'd be totally fine renting out a movie theater and watching Lord of the Rings.
Heck yeah, I'd do that. I haven't seen the first Lord of the... I haven't seen all 3 Lord of the Rings movies since high school. So watching them again would be a trip. I'd be all for that.
I used to watch them a bunch.
Oh yeah, I've seen them a bunch, but the last time I watched them...
Yeah, how long do we have the theater for? Because we're gonna need for each
12
movie,
hours.
we're gonna need 4 hours. Return of the King, maybe 5.
we could do one every few months, maybe.
Because we're watching the extended editions.
I can inquire. I can seriously inquire about it tomorrow and ask, like, hey, so we're going to be watching a newer movie that was released, but can we watch whatever we want? It'd be pretty silly for them to say, no, you can't rent a space out to watch Dumb and Dumber.
When you rent a theater, sorry, I'm choking on water. You can put whatever you want on the screen for the time allotted. At least for the theater in White Bear Lake, because we know somebody who rented it out. I wasn't there. And then too low, his family, like his extended family, they rented out a theater and saw the new Godzilla versus King Kong last week or something. So I know you
Cool.
can do either.
That would be fun.
Be super fun to just play like a first-person shooter for a couple hours too on one of those screens.
We did that in Lower Town.
We did.
There's actually an
Game nights.
official way to do it for AMC. Like apparently it's popular enough that you can just do it through their website. That's funny. It's $100.
Yes, it's cheap.
Holy crap! I was expecting like 300 or 400.
No,
Because
it's
It,
no
cheap.
one-
it used
no
to be
one
much
movies.
more expensive.
It used
The
to be much more
pandemic
expensive.
forced them to lower their prices so they could stay open. and
Oh, it's
people would pay and
more
come.
expensive for new movies, but it's cheaper for old movies. That's perfect for us.
hmm
Cool.
Oh, I could see that.
Heck
I'd
yeah.
totally be down.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just gonna stare at Luca the whole time to see his face as he takes the journey through the original Lord of the Rings trilogy.
They're so good.
It's
We
such
just
a
have to
treat.
set up a
Watch him,
GoPro. Like,
watch him
peek
sleep
at
the
his
whole
face.
time.
Yeah.
People who fall asleep in movies are the worst. One of my interview questions. You're gonna get me fired.
Hey, do I sound awful right now?
No.
No.
You sound great. My favorite was my dad. Years ago, we were watching Terminator 2 in the theater, and I glanced over because there's this great scene. I think I was about 19 at the time, something like that. And I glanced over at my dad, and he is sound asleep
What?
in the middle of Terminator 2. I was
Was
like,
he
what is
sick?
happening?
You can't
Wow.
sleep through Judgment Day.
Right?
So
Does he have poor taste in other things?
He's interesting with movies. He likes some mostly just from his childhood. My favorite movie reaction ever was my mom took him to see Evita, and
Okay.
afterwards they walked out. My dad was real quiet, and my mom says, "How did you like the movie?" And my dad responds, "I didn't realize that they would be singing the whole time."
that's what Evita is.
Wow, that's funny.
All right. Are we almost ready to start again? Adam is muted. Does that mean he's stuffing his face?
I'm here. No, I'm done eating. I'm just changing into a t-shirt. Figured I wouldn't do it on camera.
Thanks.
Show
You take
your
the wrong choice
boobs.
there.
I mean, we're
Just close
we're,
it up.
Twitch is gonna ban us if you do.
Male presenting nipples. Can't have those.
Adam, why do you have 6 nipples?
That's a
I do
perfectly normal amount of nipples.
Is that why you're vegan? Are you actually a cow?
What is going on? I don't like this. Unsubscribe from my
Let's
own
start.
channel.
Let's start streaming and then talk about Adam's 6 nipples.
We're streaming.
Oh. Hi, Crystal. So yeah, D&D. Do I D-level? Is that what's happening?
Yes. Anyone who said nipple in the last 5 minutes now is lowered levels, including
Nipple,
the
nipple, nipple.
You are now
Stock quota.
level 0.
All right.
Okay, so cheese. Queso is Spanish for cheese. Get it? You guys are now inside this building. Are you just eating a block of cheese? I mean,
Yes, I love it.
I just want you to be honest about it.
Yeah, I do have the little tiny crackers. That's all I have.
Oh,
So just put this big piece of cheese on each little cracker.
just the one cracker.
The habanero ghost pepper jack cheese.
Ooh, yum.
That would kill me.
Is it good and spicy?
Yeah, it's really good.
Nice.
So you are now in this large
Level 5.
rectangular building. You're still the same level you were, which I believe was level 4.
Yeah.
Yes.
So wait, is it finished? Does it look like it's like a living room or?
So inside this building, you can see there are basically 3. One, the moment you step in, immediately to your left, there is a small room that is furnished with a bed and basically a lump of dirt that is shaped into something like a nightstand next to the bed. That is a 15-foot by 20-foot rope, not
Wow, bigger than my bedroom.
And outside of that is more of an open space. At the front of this room, so to your right, there is basically a large, almost wok, kind of cauldron looking thing that has a couple of red alchemite in it and a flame that is going. And to the left, there are a number of rows of more of these lumps of dirt that are shaped into kind of chairs, almost like makeshift pews, essentially. You get the idea that this is some kind of worship center, like a temple of some kind.
So he lives here because there's a bed, but also slightly religious. Okay,
Maybe.
maybe.
A miniature temple with a
Doesn't
tiny
sound like
personage
slightly
attached.
religious.
Right.
Maybe.
I mean, you could always ask him, Consul.
I'm planning to. I have
Your
many
inquisitive
questions.
nature.
As he walks in, because this little I don't know what else to call it, the thing that holds all the alchemite inside of it, it's up on a slightly raised platform, knee height, so a step up, essentially a big step, but it's still a step. Sits down on the edge of that, and just kind of motions you guys, if you want to just take a seat somewhere, you certainly can. He says,
Yeah.
I'm ready to answer any questions you may have, or I can tell you the story of how New Orin came to be.
I'd love to hear that story.
As well.
Let's start with the story. Council sits down, puts his shield in his lap, and his crossbow on top of his shield, and sits with his hands folded.
Revan lays on the table.
There is no
just
table.
kidding. Okay, good. Just kidding.
He
Just
pulls
sits
out a
down.
knife and sacrifices them.
Wander makes a few attempts to sit down crisscross applesauce and fold his legs over each other, and eventually realizes it's just not going to work and stands back up.
Felix stays standing as well.
Yeah, I'm not. Tizal's not sitting.
Okay. He basically just counts.
Okay, guys. Guess I'll die first.
Like, they must not be around people much.
Well, and because Council has made himself more comfortable than others, he speaks mostly to Council.
Good.
He every once in a while he'll look off to others, but he basically keeps coming back to and speaking to Council. And he says, well, it all starts back when my brother and I were very young. I'm the older brother, approximately 2.5 years older than he. When he was born with the powers that he has now. He's always had them. He's always had some kind of attunement to nature, the natural elements, however you want to call it. And I wasn't. And so naturally, he got a lot more attention than I did. Never really proved to be much of a point of contention for us. But certainly he got more attention for it, both from our parents and from outsiders. And that was fine by me. I was okay just doing my own thing. That continued after we left the Pillars and we came here, or there, to Oran, where eventually he became High Magister, I think is what he calls himself now. And I was just a common laborer around the town, did a lot of service activities, made sure streets were cleaned, made sure that buildings were cleaned out, made sure that the lights on the light posts worked. And that was, again, perfectly fine by me. All that changed, however, when our parents passed away. In my time of grief, and he stops. And he kind of looks up through the hole in the ceiling, which you can see at this point in time. It's not noon yet, so the sun isn't shining like directly down into there, but it is shining like into the room, basically like right on top of like where Council is sitting, like where you guys are standing, just because it's coming up in the east. It says, I was contacted, let's say, and I was given the power that I have now. My brother didn't like that much. He didn't seem to appreciate the attention that I was now taken away from him because of my newfound power. He naturally wanted to know where it came from. I, being the ever-open person that I am, tried to share as much with him as he wanted. He was not interested, and the conversation ended very poorly. We didn't speak for a number of months. I assumed that my brother assumed I left town, or I died, or I went off to do something else, but I didn't. I stayed in town. And just continued to be myself. However, to the powers that I had come upon, others began to take notice of me, began to follow me, and began to search me out wherever I was doing. He liked that even less. He thought of me as some kind of competitor to his station within Oran. When he learned of talk of someone in town using their natural magical abilities, being myself, he came after me. And he had my home where I was staying ransacked. He took my things, including a wand that I had fashioned. At that time, I tried to leave town, but the guards essentially took me by force and brought me to the temple, where Alabaster and I again spoke for the first time in months. I was to be kept there until he could go and do some more research to try and find out whatever it was that I had been communed with. I tried to tell him, but he didn't listen. He wanted to find out for himself. In that time, however, my followers came and they essentially broke me out. And since then, we've come north here and we set up New Orin, where any are free to come and go, to learn, to trade, to be who they wish. And now, you also have been brought here.
When you say brought here, what do you mean?
Well, something has brought you here. Call it fate. Call it the will of some greater being that we don't understand. Or beings. Call it whatever you will. Something has brought you to be here, talking to me now. I say brought because I knew you were coming. I wasn't told by Alabaster, but I was told by the light.
Can I tell how much of his side of the story about how he was treated? How is any of that does it seem skewed? Is he exaggerating anything?
Make me an insight check.
Yeah, I would like to do the same thing.
Yeah.
If that's okay.
That's not great.
Um,
6.
Yeah.
Slightly waterboarded myself.
18.
18.
14?
14.
I was gonna say I wanted to do the same thing when he talked of learning of the light, but I rolled or communing with the light, but I rolled a natural 1, so it doesn't even matter.
Matters, you failed.
What?
It's good to know. It's good to know that. It matters.
Oh, okay.
Wander, would you?
4.
Counsel, as far as you can tell, it sounds like he's being honest. I mean, nothing
Okay.
about his story sounds too far-fetched to believe. Knowing what you do about Alabaster and his slight control freakish nature,
Right.
it doesn't sound too out of character. Certainly could be true.
Tizal would hold out the wand of fire and ask, "Is this familiar to you, James?"
As soon as he sees it, his eyes light up and he says, "How did you come to own it?"
Where else would we have gotten it?
It was given to us as a reward.
Yes.
By your brother.
I see. Well, that is, in fact, mine. And he holds his hand out expectantly.
That seems like such a bad idea.
Slams the wand into his chest.
Sets us on fire.
Not too sure why you brought that out.
I was showing you a method of payment for services rendered. I will not be giving this back to you just yet. I apologize for how that may seem. But I do not know you, and I will not give you a weapon within minutes of meeting you. I apologize, but I will hang on to it.
He takes his hand back. He says, "No matter. That's perfectly fine. I have all the weapon I need with me. You can keep it. Consider it a gift from me instead of from Alabaster."
This confuses me.
Wow.
James, from your perspective, what is the
Looks back
reason?
down to you sitting on the ground.
What is the reason your brother took this wand from you? What was his motivation?
You see, Alabaster never was very good with fire. And so for me to now have some ability to work with it, and have created this to be able to give as a gift to one of my followers, as a way for them to be able to use fire as well. He saw this as a threat.
His desire to control his surroundings aligns with his obsession with collaring new arrivals to his city.
I will admit that originally those stones which he uses were empowered by me.
Understandable. As an assumingly unlimited source of elemental fire, that would be the most convenient choice.
It was.
In your story, you were particularly vague about your explanations on what contacted you. Would you mind expanding on that a bit more?
He simply gestures up towards the skylight. He says, the source of all life.
The sun.
The very same.
Did it speak to you?
Oh, it spoke very clearly to me.
Are the details of that conversation private?
No. Is anything about me private? He stands up and kind of like turns around, like spins in front of you.
Ah, pants on.
Yeah, I forgot to mention he dropped trout right before he started.
Okay, yeah. I've crossed.
The wind blows open his robe.
Some interesting occurrences have happened with us as well on our journey. And the more context we can gain on what these powers contacting us, mortal creatures, the better.
What would you like to know?
When it first spoke to you, did it ask you to do something? Did it say why it gave you these powers?
No. It merely offered warmth and comfort in my time of need. See, as I had said before, I just lost my parents. I was grieving greatly.
So at a time you were most vulnerable, you were offered power. And you took it.
I was offered comfort first. The power came later.
One must flavor their food in order for it to be desirable. Did I just get duck face from Crystal?
I think he did.
A little bit.
Has it spoken to you since then?
Oh, it speaks to me all the time. He speaks to me all the time.
He?
Yeah.
What is he saying right now?
Oh, he told me about your coming.
Is everyone here at the settlement a follower of the sun?
Yes.
Or is that not necessarily a requirement?
It's not a requirement. But everyone sees the light in it eventually.
Does it speak to anyone else?
Hasn't seemed to.
Do you have to stare at the sun to communicate with it? Ah.
No, not at all. He gestures to the other parts of the ceiling that are very much covered. He says, even in the darkest of places, the light can penetrate.
So what of your aspirations? Why here? What are your goals now that you're independent and you have this ability?
Goals are a very interesting thing. Goals are a way of tying yourself down. Tying yourself down to a certain ideal or a certain point that you want to get to. All I want is more light.
Is that your choice?
Everything's my choice.
What do you mean by you want more light?
Interesting. coming from you.
And why would that be?
Well, your master clearly resides in darkness.
Council looks at Revan.
Master?
Where you've gotten your markings. Come here.
Why?
He motions over to join him next to this, the walk of flame.
Oh, walk over there.
He positions himself opposite of you, and he holds out his hands for you to grab his.
What are your intentions?
I'm merely going to read your fortune. Tell you a little, cast a little bit of light into the shadow that is yourself.
Can I subtly get Felix's attention,
Make me a sleight of hand check.
seeing that James is distracted? Ha! Ooh, that 20!
You probably could.
He's just gonna look at Felix and kind of tap the side of his eyes and then motion at James. Come on, Felix, you got this.
He
Wait,
waits.
did you make a hand motion?
Yeah, he looks at Felix, he taps the side of his eyes, and then gestures at James.
Meanwhile, James is just looking at Revan, expecting.
You'll have to forgive me. As we've just met, I'm weary of what may be about to happen here. So I think I'll take my seat again.
I'd be more than happy to have my fortune told.
Wander stands up and walks over and joins him.
Mm-hmm.
Tizal's chest is poking out, ready to pounce.
Okay.
In case something happens.
Wander, you go over. Go ahead.
Right as he grabs my hand, I pull him away for half a second and go, "You know I don't like fire, right?"
I made that assumption.
Okay.
You are, so when you take hands with him, your arms are over your limbs, I guess I'll call them, are over this flame that is beneath you. So it is a little bit warmer than you would like. And you're a little bit closer than you'd probably be comfortable with. But at this point in time, you're not being burnt.
Okay.
He takes your limbs and he turns them over so that what is like considered what would be your palm is more up. And he just kind of studies them for a moment. And he looks at them, and while he continues to look at them, he says, "There's an ancient energy that flows through you. Something as old as this world. Something older than these other mortal races." And he looks kind of behind you and gestures to the others. Says the great equalizer would have great interest in finding the source of that energy. And could promise knowledge and equality to you and to your kin.
Knowledge and equality to me and my kin.
During this thing, is it noisy at all?
Besides the conversations that you could hear happening outside this temple, it's not noisy, no.
I wonder if I could quietly cast Detect Magic.
There it is.
Does that have a verbal component?
It does.
Oh.
This is why I didn't do it immediately.
Okay.
So I'm gonna be
Do you
like,
need to cast it?
yeah.
No, I'm just not. Never mind.
So are you trying to cast it underneath your breath, or like?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna.
About it?
I need one action to cast it.
Okay.
And if I see an opportunity to, when it's a bit more noisy and he's not looking at me.
Okay.
If there isn't an opportunity to, I won't take it. Because I'm going to be, little extra cautious.
Probably not a great opportunity. If you wanted to, you could try and make a stealth check at disadvantage.
Nah.
Not
Yeah.
worth it.
Okay. Yeah, so not really a great opportunity to get it out.
You said the great equalizer. Is that the sun?
That's one of his titles, yes. He's known by many things.
Well, that is. There's an ancient power that I need to discover the source of, you say?
Ancient energy.
Ancient energy.
The great
I'll have to
equalizer.
think on this.
And at that, he kind of like closes your hands together and just like bows down and like touches his forehead to your hands and then lets you go.
Has this power contacted anyone else in the past? Do you know?
He has told me that there are others, yes?
I'm curious as to why this isn't more widespread.
That what's more not widespread.
From my experience, when we intervene, people become dependent. This entity has offered you power and comfort to you and others around you. There are a great many people who seek that in the world. Why just this few? Is this a recent development? This contact with you? Is he intentionally keeping the numbers small for some reason?
Can't be saying I've ever asked.
You'll have to forgive my curiosity. It is one of my primary traits.
One of your greatest, I'm sure.
Flattery will get you very, very, what's the word? No! Never mind.
Did I just bluster Alex?
They say flattery will get you nowhere with me.
You two break it up. James, is all of your knowledge of the great equalizer, the sun, does it come from him, or are there teachings you have read?
No, everything I've learned has been from him.
You seem to be aware of the entity that has contacted Revan.
Who?
Yes?
I apologize, Revan, if that is private, but he spoke of it as if it were common. Was this informed to you by the sun?
Yes.
Interesting.
How do you know you can trust this son? Where did your trust stem from?
How do you know that you can trust your master?
How do you know I have a master? I don't feel I serve anyone.
It's perfectly fine for you to not think that you serve anyone. Doesn't make it true. I trust mine because everything is open. Everything is in the light. Both literally and figuratively. There are no secrets. Anything.
But there must be some secrets. You can't pretend to know everything.
Oh, just because I don't know everything doesn't mean that there's not secrets.
So what is your intent with us then? If you knew of our arrival and know so much about us already, what do you hope to do next with us?
I don't hope to do anything with you. You're the ones who came here.
Your brother is concerned that you are planning something against him and the people. Unless my senses are dulled by my time away from home, I do not sense any malice from you.
And you'd be right there. I want no ill will for my brother or for those who reside with him.
Do you intend to overthrow your brother?
No.
Do you have any intentions of returning to Orin?
Not at all. Why would I?
One of you is not being truthful with us. And it is difficult for us to determine who that may be.
I'm sorry. I truly am. If I could expose more of who I am or what I am in contact with, I would. But I've laid bare everything that you have asked of me.
What should we tell your brother that you're doing out here?
Be truthful. I wouldn't want you to lie on my behalf. Tell him that me and those who choose to came here are living. Just living.
Do you understand his perspective and why he was wary of what you told him?
He kind of stops for a second.
Suddenly, great power was attained with no price and nothing to give in return. In my teachings, there was a quote: "In a world without justice, the innocent should be closely scrutinized." It might seem strange to him that you would gain something so quickly and so easily.
Aye, there's always a price.
Just because there's no justice now doesn't mean there won't be justice later.
Do you plan to have a part in that?
No.
I reach into my coat and pull out the compass and say, Do you know this item?
He looks at it. No. Never seen it before. Is there something special about it?
I don't know, but I assume likely, yes.
How do you assume?
It found its way into my pocket without exactly knowing how it got there. And
Well, just like how
the direction.
you found your way here.
What do you mean by that? We were told to...
Again, being led by some power that you're unaware of?
We were told to travel a day's journey north, and there would be a settlement, and well, here we are.
Do you think someone spoke to that compass and told it where to go?
No, we didn't follow the compass to get here. But it doesn't point north, which is unusual. He kind of shows him.
He looks at the compass. Aye.
Puts it back in his pocket.
If you speak to the sun, will it respond?
He speaks when he wants me to listen.
Tizal looks up and
Why do we have this compass?
there. I asked. Tell me if he answers.
He just kind of looks at you. Would you like me to read your fortune? And he holds out his hands again over the flame.
Yes, I am curious now. Her too.
James
Where did that
hands-
child come from?
James hands Tizzle a baby. Here you go.
James just slam dunks the baby down into the fire.
Oh no!
Now we're a party of 6.
That's not a TV show. Party 5. No.
Oh, I got the terrible reference. Boo.
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 All right. So you give him your wings?
Yeah, let's do it.
He grabs your wings. And he sits there for a long time. He cocks his head. He says, your loyalty, without question, and bravery, and unique abilities would make you a valuable friend to this community. The free people of New Oran would be tremendously happy to have you join us. And with that, he closes your hands back together and does the same thing, kind of bows his head down to your hand and give your hands back to you, your wings back to you.
Do you stay and join them?
I guess this is it, guys.
Join the cult. Join the cult.
It's the first time I've been loved.
That is an interesting proposal. I will not lie and say that I do not know what my place is. Being cast away from Pollux, I have no plan. I have no home. I will not turn my beak up at this request once we have answered the questions that we seek. But we must find those answers before anything can be done.
What other questions do you have? Maybe I can answer them for you.
I have one that is related to the compass. There was a man by the name of Charlie that was my cellmate in Pollux that was brought here to Zunechbia.
Hmm. He closes his eyes as he listens to you.
I'm looking for him, and it seems as though he may have crossed paths with this compass. We believe he may be no longer living.
Your friend has
But he-
been returned.
What? Say more, please.
His life energy has passed back to that which it came from. He is what you would call dead.
How do you know this?
That which gives knows when that which it has given has been returned to it.
Was he a follower?
Not that I know of.
But you can sense when someone has passed.
I can't.
Were you just told?
More or less.
Did you ever meet this man?
No. Never met him before.
Interesting.
I am sorry to hear about the loss of your friend.
Thank you. I appreciate the comfort in knowing that he is no longer with us physically.
If you need time, 'tis all. We can wait here for you.
No. I will continue. We must find the answers before I can take a rest.
James, do these answers, when you obtain them, do they come with a price?
Do the answers come with a price?
Aye.
No. It's given freely.
Might I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
In the north, there is a polar hewn known as the High Jarl Tormund. And
Jimmy
before
closes his eyes as he listens to you.
before I came to this land, I was accused of killing him. Something that I did not do. Do you have any knowledge of what actually happened?
I don't. I do know that the High Jarl is in fact dead.
Okay. I appreciate you sharing that. Thank you.
As well as a number of other hewn leaders.
Oh? Is that so?
Aye?
Someone's been killing them, it seems.
That aligns with what we heard of the refugees in New Orleans. The assassinations have been increasing.
There is a price to be paid for that kind of power.
What do you mean?
Oh, someone's
What-
always behind you. Someone's always looking to take your seat.
Aye.
It's hard to sleep well at night when so much of what you build is upon the flesh of others.
A throne is the most devious trap of them all.
Are you worried for your brother's life?
No. Not at all. He will die, as will we all, someday. Could be now, could be tomorrow, could be 40 years from now. But someday his life will return.
Are you aware of any impending great change coming to the world?
Oh, yes.
I take it you may understand why I'm here, then.
No. I've been told nothing of your journeys. Simply that you were coming.
And what of this change that you know of? What is your take on it, if I may?
The one that gives life desires to have it back.
The sun wishes to take back the life it gives.
If that is how you choose to see him, yes.
Meaning, and if I understand how the sun works correctly, that almost every living creature will be affected.
Absolutely.
Has this happened before?
No. No. The other catastrophes that have happened in the ages past were done by others of power.
So there have been other catastrophes.
Almost certainly.
That aligns with my theory.
Others of power, you mean these great beings like the light that you speak to?
Are you?
Makes sense.
Do you know of their nature?
I know something. I don't know what I don't know.
So
the
if these
Summit Council.
catastrophes, if these catastrophes have happened before, and it is now the light's turn to bring forth next, perhaps there's some sort of cycle? Is there a reason for this? To snuff out so much life so quickly?
Energy is not infinite. You can't make something from nothing. All life that comes into this place has to come from somewhere. And when that well runs dry, what then?
It makes me contemplate the reason to give it in the first place.
It wasn't given. It was stolen.
So
Life stolen.
Aye.
By who?
By the others.
the other powers.
The same powers that destroyed it.
But how do we know that they weren't just taking back what was theirs to begin with?
The light hasn't lied to me yet.
Do you think this could be some sort of war? Conflict between powers? Struggling over life to gain control? As if it were some sort of valuable asset?
Takes a second.
If it is a covetous thing, it would make sense that others would seek to take it from the light.
Life is, as I said before, all from the same source. Certainly, those that were given it or who stole it certainly don't want to give it back. Because that would mean the end of them.
They themselves are of this stolen light.
We all are. We're their descendants.
Why wait? If if the light has the power to revoke what was stolen, why allow generations to go through?
It doesn't have the power to revoke what it's stolen. Not yet.
Such as what it is working toward.
Yes.
Ah,
And you are aiding in that quest.
Not yet.
does that mean if our generations are constantly snuffed out, does that mean we aren't supposed to be here?
Well, that depends on who you're asking. If you're asking the light, no, we're not.
Has this light taken any shape or presented itself to you?
No. Never. One could never ask so much to be condescended to so little.
Agreed. Do you think it could be one of the deities that are worshipped, or something separate?
The deities are children.
Do you think they have some part in stealing this life? Are they at potential odds with the light?
No. And yes.
I jump into the fire.
Captain Revan had a vision where we believe are the gods were discussing around a table, and Alacanter stormed out of the room saying that he had something to prove. Does this sound familiar or relevant to the power struggle with the sun?
No.
Do you know the nature of any of the previous catastrophes?
He closes his eyes and thinks. I know of one. Would you like to know about it?
And
Please.
Go on.
One of these gods, as you call them, tried to expedite the regathering of life.
So, at least one of the gods agrees with the light.
Or perhaps it wants to gather it for itself.
That would be a most grievous sin.
Well, they're all already sinners, according to the sun.
Forgive me if this seems arrogant, but doesn't this all sound rather petty? The struggles between those grabbing for something they don't own or vying for control over things seems odd. But I assume that's because our minds are rather small in comparison.
I wouldn't call it petty.
I'm sure you wouldn't.
You, being who you are, must know surely there are differences in culture, in how value is placed on items, on titles, on belongings or cities, on even other people.
True. As I said, there is information I am missing from coming to a logical conclusion. It just seems unfortunate that such a struggle has so many lives caught in between. It disrupts a balance that I am used to pursuing.
May I learn about this balance? He holds out his hands.
Council stares for a moment.
Do it. Do it.
For the safety of everyone here, I do not think that's a good idea.
Council, I have as many questions for you as I do to him about the sun.
Well then. Anyone else? He looks to Felix or Captain Revan.
Captain Reverend's sitting back down at this point.
I will do it if Revan does it.
It was an interesting proposition.
Narratively, it makes sense.
Since you are so full of answers, I've got another mystery that's been plaguing us, if you wouldn't mind.
Aye.
As we spent some time, a short while, exploring Orin and its outer reaches, there was an old Dorn rune, and he describes it, triangle, D, and we kept finding it everywhere. We saw it on the bells in the towers. Do you know of this symbol? Does that mean anything to you?
Well, it's the mark of the Maker. And he gestures towards Felix. Surely, great craftsmen always leave their mark.
And we had assumed
I
as
already said that.
Are you sure Maker doesn't mean the sun?
we had assumed as much, but I was wondering if it meant anything to you. For you see, that compass I showed you also has the same marking on it.
Oh, does it?
Aye.
May I see it?
He pulls it out and a little bit cautiously reaches out, but shows him.
He takes the compass. And he looks it over. And he hands it back. Tis merely a child's plaything.
What makes you say that?
Well, he called the gods children.
Aye.
The very same.
That he did. So it's as good as a piece of rubbish, and I should throw it into the heap.
If that's what you see to do, it's up to you.
Revan puts it back in his pocket.
Do you know what's beneath the city of Orin? It's been very carefully sealed for some reason.
Kept a secret.
That I do.
would sharing that information be something you're willing to do?
It's merely the heart of this world.
So, nothing important.
Not
The heart of this world, you say?
Aye.
All caps beneath setting is heart of the frickin' world.
Why would you call it a heart?
That's an interesting question. This world that we live on, similar to your tree friend here, is alive.
The sun wants that life back as well, I presume.
Oh, most assuredly it does.
And why isn't that considered an act of malice or evil intent?
Why is what not considered that?
Taking that life back, the heart of this world, as you called it.
If something's stolen, returning it is not evil.
The perspective
That
that
is-
is stolen is...
That's to assume it is the lights to begin with, which I only have your word to go on, and I'm not convinced of it yet.
About to chop the tree down, claiming the seed was stolen.
If you'd like, Revan, why don't you ask your master?
Yes, Revan.
Wherever she may be.
She!
No, we knew that already.
Yeah, no, it's confirmed, though.
Find her and ask her for yourself. From whence her life came.
Are you implying that she stole it, or it was stolen from the light?
Aye.
So her very existence is in and of itself a lie or a deceit.
In the same way that your life is a lie or a deceit.
Or as well then.
Mine as well. Everyone hears.
I don't know. I can do some pretty cool tricks, so I don't actually think that. Really lying
Death
to
with
sleep.
man.
Yeah. Barrels.
Tizal's like doing a kickflip on his skateboard. I think I deserve to live, bro.
Do a kickflip. Council just stares at the fire for a while.
What?
While you two contemplate it, and he holds his hands towards Felix.
I missed what he said.
He said, while you two contemplate your decisions, he holds his hands towards Felix.
Do it.
He just stares at him and takes some puffs of his cigar.
Felix, I don't think there's any more that I can learn about you than what I've already learned. Those who seek you have come here. They've mentioned your name. They know what you're doing. And they know what you took from them. They too want it back. I merely just want to bring it to light.
He walks up and puts his hand forward.
Both hands?
Yeah.
when you put your hands forward, he turns them over to look at your palms. I'm assuming you're in your suit, right?
Yeah.
Says, is there any way that I could get at the fleshy bits underneath this?
He kind of the gauntlets kind of detach from the rest of the armor and slide off.
Most gracious. He studies your hands. Felix, there's great interest in the records that the Dwarven keep. Also, interest in the innovation of this suit that you've made. This false life may be of use to the source of all life. He puts your hands together, taps it with his forehead, gives it your hands back.
Slides the gauntlets back on. We'll see about that.
What you want to do, Adam?
Everyone's good.
Council
Desperately
approaches.
want to do this as a player, but
Council approaches James.
Holds out his hands.
I want to be clear to everyone before I do this. The last time I dug into my history to any great length, a lot of people died. You have been warned.
It sounds as though there are going to be many a great death anyway.
Perhaps you'd like the good captain to go first then, before everyone dies.
I'm okay. I know all I need to know for now.
For now, better mean just before he goes, because you're not getting out of this until you do it. We all did it. You're doing it.
Would you wish to, since you seem to know so much about me, James, would you wish to commune with the great tentacle one that I talk with?
Absolutely not.
Okay. So you understand my hesitation for talking with you. Or rather, the light.
Why would there be hesitancy in speaking with the light?
Why would there be hesitancy for speaking with the fathomless?
Because there are evil things that go bump in the night.
Evil is in the eye of the beholder, though. What is evil to one man is not necessarily the same to another.
That is fair.
As I said before, I know not enough about you yet to know for sure that you're not evil, or your intentions, or the intentions of the light are not evil.
You are a valuable tool to your master. And he holds out his hands for counsel.
Council hesitantly, like he stops multiple times in taking off the buckles of his armored gauntlets. And underneath his gauntlets are another layer of gloves. And then he takes off his gloves and
We're gonna see
reveals,
skin.
he reveals pale skin on both of his hands that are just covered in scars. Absolutely covered. And some of them don't look quite right. He holds out his hands to James.
James, upon seeing your hands, doesn't even flinch. He takes them. And you, almost immediately upon touching your hands, he flinches a little bit.
Okay. Council is very tense. Feels like a grenade is gonna go off.
He turns over your hands, and he closes his eyes and studies them. And opens his eyes. And he closes his eyes. And he opens them again. He says, "This can't be right." He's very angry.
And me? Or what
Your-
I've become?
Your very bloodline has angered Noon. You have stolen from Death himself, and Death will come to claim what is his. There are powers on this way right now.
Got garbage on my hands. Something died in here.
And he puts your hands back together. And he does not touch his forehead to your hands.
Council, while his mask and face are completely covered, his body language denotes a sense of sad acceptance, as if something dreaded was confirmed in his mind. And he puts his gloves back on, and then puts his gauntlets back on.
Everybody make me a perception check.
Oh,
12.
12.
12.
What? What the heck?
By the way, 12
16.
divided by 2, 6. Sorry.
16, you said, Wander? Wander notices first as the alchemite in the walk behind begins to spasm almost on its own and rattle. And then the rest of you who rolled 12s also notice as Council is putting back on his gloves that it is making... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
As soon as Felix sees that, the visor goes down on his suit.
The other rocks, or the other alchemite, begins to vibrate in the synchronicity. It's in sync with it.
Synchronicity?
Synchronicity. I was like, why does that sound like it's not a word? In synchronicity with the other stones, and begins to like bang against this cauldron of sorts, in which it is. And James just kind of backs up into the corner of the room. He says, "Council, you should not have been here." At which point, each of the pieces of alchemite flies out and turns into a fire elemental.
No, no!
And we'll stop there and start again next week with that.
What?
2 weeks with that.
It's only 8:30.
You're not going to be able to finish this fight in 27 minutes.
You can easily TPK us in 27 minutes. Thank you.
If you'd like to do it, we can start.
No, you're the DM. You can decide.
No.
Yeah. We'll pick up there then in 2 weeks.
I told you!
Whoa. You were right.
This
You were
dude
right.
is evil.
There's a reason. Oh gosh, that was so cool.
That was.
That was awesome.
I so wanted to have Revan's fortune read.
You should have done it.
No, because he wouldn't have done it as the character. Just as that guy wouldn't have done it if
Right.
the table was flipped. There's, yeah. I don't know what secret insight he's gonna get into him, and
Council
what?
knew that something bad. Not knew that something bad. He's cautious, but there are things he has to know, and so it's in his mind. This was worth the risk.
You guys are heathens. I got an invite to live there, so
You did, and
Wander, Felix, and Tizol like, yeah, you guys can stay here. You're cool. Welcome to the commune.
The traveling
you-
demons.
are you rolling a new character?